What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're doing well today. Got a new knife review for you. Let's jump into it. All right, guys, today we're taking a look at the Pyrite Light Alt Large. I think it's large. It could be XL. I'm drawing a blank right now. But I'm really excited to see this one because I personally really preferred the regular version or original version of the Alt Pyrite Light and the upgrades that they did to it. I thought it was very well done. So really excited to see a large version because I feel like that's going to cater to folks like myself with larger hands. You still have AR RPM 9. You have a button lock apparatus with contoured FRN scales, full steel liners for rigidity, and they kept the fold over reversible steel deep carry pocket clip and the lockout mechanism, which I think for those that have concerns about the durability, which I feel like have continuously improved of the plunge lock, that really does help that, because even with the button pushed, it's not going to accidentally collapse. And of course, accidental spine wax, because you shouldn't be batoning with your knife, are not going to cause this lock to fail. Having said that, took it down to the garage just to see how it fared cutting on camera. Really nice edge from the factory, absolutely sliced through the catalog paper. Really good utility grip, even for its size. Now, I know if you have smaller hands, this could present a problem, but again, I would steer you towards the original, not the large. But great articulation here in the pinch grip to be able to do utility cuts, detailed cuts. It absolutely went through the cardboard with no issue whatsoever. It has a very thin geometry, felt very, very slicey going through the cardboard and the denim. Now, the denim was really impressive, because I figured with a larger knife and a little bit of a thicker blade stock due to the larger size that it wouldn't probably bite as good, but it did. It bit very nice into the denim, which is nice and a very good indicator of how this would perform going through some denser material. Was not a struggle, very easy to use. It does have ceramic bearings in the pivot. I really do like that a lot. Very easy to open and close. Thumb studs work well, feels good on the detent. I would say if you're grading on the detent alone, I would probably give this, I'd give this a 7. It's a very solid detent, feels very satisfying to deploy, doesn't feel lazy at all, no mush, and very clean action. No side-to-side play has developed and no up and down. And the other thing that I discovered on the original is you can lock it closed. So that's another safety device, whether you like to carry it locked in the pocket because you know that you're going to only pull this out for utility. It's very easy to get to the button and deploy. But if you're going to be storing it in like a backpack, in the glove box in the car or truck, if you're going to be storing this somewhere else where you just don't want it to accidentally open while it's being stored there, that lock is really nice because it is deliberate. Like, you really have to intend to push it. Does that mean that it's really hard to push? No, but it doesn't have a spring system, so it's not like it's going to be pushed back. Like, you have to hit it. It's smaller. You can feel there's a difference between that and the button to open and close that, with the lockout. You can feel the difference. It's apparent that it's different. It feels different when you push it. You know immediately when you hit it. If you were trying to open it with the plunge lock instead, you don't have a spring coming back, so it's not going to work. So you know that you need to unlock it and then move down to the actual plunge lock, if that all makes sense. Let's do some size comparisons. We'll weigh the knife and then we'll jump into my thoughts and impressions. All right, so I thought it would be a good idea to bring the original out here. And I think when I was doing my review, I mistakenly said that it has the lock on the small one, and clearly it does not. I don't know if that's me misremembering or misstating. For some reason, I think I confused myself thinking that the small one had the lock. But the big one does have the lock, and I'm okay with that. But you can see here it is against the Volt, which is more medium-sized, like the Alt Pyrite. So I don't have a small comparison. I'm sorry, guys. I think this is a really great comparison to show you that it is larger. You can see a difference with the blade edge and how everything's laid out in the ergos. Let's grab a couple more, and then we'll get to scale. All right, so I do have a more full-size knife out here now, and that is the Manix 2 Lightweight, and I would say that the Pyrite Light Large is going to be even bigger than the Manix 2 Lightweight, which is really impressive because it feels like it's still pretty lightweight, and we'll actually compare the weight here in a minute between the original and the Manix 2 Lightweight, and then you have your Devo Knife Fireball out here on the table for another medium-sized EDC for those of you that maybe have a premium version of that. Also, there will be a disassembly in a separate video on this one because I am kind of curious what that lock means as far as taking it apart. I don't think it'll be a huge difference, but be on the lookout for that if you are curious. Let me grab the scale and we'll check the weight. Scale out and on. We're going to start with the original because I think the difference, it'd be interested to see if there is any difference. I think it'll be like, say, 3.5. I'm thinking maybe 3.2, but 2.8 on the original, 3.7 on the large. So my original guess at 3.5 was close. And 3.4 on the Manix 2 Lightweight. I do believe because these are aluminum scales with no steel liners and this has the full steel liners, that explains the difference that you have there, but it's still very good weight for such a large knife. Let me get the scale out of here and clean up and we'll go ahead and wrap up. All right, guys, final thoughts and impressions as I completely whiff on those thumb studs. I don't know why though. I was going to say because I really like the ergos on here. I can get 4 fingers comfortably back here, especially if I need to power through some dense material and I don't want to be choked up near the blade. That's going to be nice there and easy to control. The choke up point leaves plenty of space behind the blade's edge there, so I'm way back even if I'm choked up and gripping the knife fully like so. I'm hoping you can see that I still have wiggle room there to get behind there to work it. I like the pinch grip position, or not the pinch grip, choke up position. I can move up, cut through the materials with great control, and then it still has a surprisingly good pinch grip position. I can get way down out onto the blade. It does leave a lot behind your hand here, but it really doesn't bother me or hinder me from operating it that way. The studs work great. I think the geometry on here is good. Nice factory edge. I continue to actually prefer RPM 9 over 14C28N and Nitro V because I think it holds an edge better. I think it can take a really nice fine edge. And the material, the 9CR or RPM 9 spray form version of it seems to be very tough and durable. So I still find on the budget knives that I do prefer the spray form, but I will say Kubi does a really good job on their 14C28N. So I would say that it wouldn't be a huge gap between the two, but I do like RPM 9 a little better, especially when you're getting it for 30 and 40 bucks. I think it performs and punches above its cost or its expense by a great deal. You do have ceramic bearings in here. Again, I am assuming that these are ceramic bearings that are stamped. We'll find out in the disassembly video. The action has been great. The ergos are nice. You got slightly contoured FRN scales with a little bit of knurling on here. So there's a lot of positive. Reversible clip. They even keep it deep carry and give those that may want a lanyard, which would be odd on such a large knife. But I know some people like the accent factor of it, so I get it. I'm not into it personally, but I get it. I grade on the scale of 1 to 10. 7 is the highest a budget knife can go, and that would have to be an absolute perfect budget knife. Having said that, I am going to go 6-7 on this one. I really like it. I did take into consideration ergos, performance, materials, and that you're getting this at around 50 bucks, I think 50 to 60 if I'm remembering correctly. There was a coupon, and I think without the coupon it's a little overly priced for a large version of that knife. But I think the $50 price point makes sense. You're getting the extra lock, you're getting a lot more material here, a lot more blade, so you got a lot more time with grinding, not a lot more time. Let me pull that back a little bit. You spend more time grinding away to get the geometry and to sharpen the knife, so there is some additional time spent. And then you do have the extra material here. I don't think that the original version is small enough to where you have the argument of, well, you know, it's going to take just as much time to have the detail on something so small because it slows you down. I think that's a normal size. I think that's probably faster production, and I do believe that the extra lock here does, you know, add some additional time to the production of this piece as well. You know, there's other knives out there that I could recommend for the $50 price point, but I really like this. I think it's going to be nice weight for size, right? If you compare it to knives that are just as large, I think the weight's going to be pretty comparable. I will be curious to see if they do other colors and things like that. I think that's where this would really shine. And I think for $50, this is a knife that you could show pride owning and, you know, not be ashamed to pull out. Not that you should be ashamed of any quality piece that you pull out, regardless of what you pay for it. But my point being is, if you pull this out, I think people that are in the know, that are into the hobby, would appreciate and respect it. But I think you could also take this out, just use it, abuse it, beat the hell out of it, and not worry or care about whether or not it gets some scratches or something happens to the scale if you were to drop it or something like that, or, you know, if you were to get a nick or scratch or scar or something on the blade, right? It's not that much of an investment where you would worry about that. All right, I'm out of here. I've rambled long enough. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.